From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
I think, the future of medicine is assured by our youth.
A boom in students applying for medical school during this pandemic. The impact this could have on local hospitals, but not in the way you may think. A top official in Bartholomew County ascends to an even higher position despite accusations of ghost employment. WRTV Investigates questioned him after he was sworn in as a judge. We'll show you what happened.
He gives me strength from the grave because he wants me to be strong. And I want to be strong. I want to live because I want to see justice.
A mother lost her son to gun violence nearly 3 years ago. The holidays are a tough time for her, but we'll show you how she pushes forward in her quest for justice. Thanks for joining us here on this New Year's Eve here on WRTV News at 6. I'm Mark Mullins. First tonight, we do have a storm team alert, and that's because freezing rain is a possibility which could cause dangerous roads. We need to get straight to meteorologist Kyle Mounts for the timeline of that. Kyle.
And Mark, it is going to be late overnight and into tomorrow morning for our New Year's Day. Here's a look at that timeline. It's all going to be moving in from the south. So first areas like Bloomington, Columbus, around 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll start to see some of that freezing rain. I-70 Indianapolis area about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then as we get to Lafayette and Kokomo, it'll be around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's the area that we have encompassed in that winter weather advisory that goes into effect overnight. Includes from around Franklin and areas off to the north here. Right now, beautiful sunset though across central Indiana as we remain dry. We've got those temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, still at 30 degrees for you in the Bloomington area. Don't expect temperatures to really waver too much here as we go through the next several hours, and there is a very quiet satellite and radar with the system that's going to be impacting us still over in portions of Oklahoma and Texas. So if you are going to be out there this evening, here's what you can expect. Temperatures in the upper 20s. We'll have those clouds continuing to increase for us. More on that New Year's Day slippery forecast in just a bit.
New at 6 across the nation, medical school applications are skyrocketing. Just this month, the Association of American Medical Colleges noted that applications for the class of 2021 is already up 18% compared to last year. WRTV's Nikki Dementri takes a look at what Indiana University is seeing this year and finds out what the spike in applications doesn't necessarily mean.
Meet Natalie.
I am a first-year medical student, so I just completed my first semester.
And Colton.
So I'm a third-year medical student.
Both of these IU Terre Haute students can attest medical school during a pandemic is certainly not easy.
I think it's taking people a little bit longer to adjust to school, to learn how to study.
So it really did put a pause on things for a little bit. However, IU school of medicine caught us up.
And yet the number of prospective students is skyrocketing.
It was a remarkable increase in the number of applications.
7,386 total applications. That's a 47% increase this year alone for in-state applications to IU Medical School. And it's also a 20% jump in out-of-state applications.
This is, again, a phenomenon that we wouldn't have lived through unless we had a pandemic. Yeah, I'm so much comforted by the fact that the young people rise to the occasion whenever there's a crisis in our country.
Indiana University Medical School has the largest class of medical students in the entire country. Despite a drastic increase in those applications, though, that class size remains the same at 365.
Well, I think sometimes young people are maybe underestimated by the older generation, and this goes to show that the younger generation, whenever a crisis happens, that we're ready to respond, and we want to continue to go out and change the world.
The Associate Dean of Admissions points to 4 reasons behind the increase. First, online school allowing more time to work on applications. Second, the interview process moving virtually. Also, the uncertainty in the economy pushing applicants to want a stable profession. And the one that has many talking is coined the Fauci effect.
I think it's more than a Fauci effect. They saw so many selfless people out there. They wanted to join the profession.
In just a few months, Natalie and Colton will become mentors to the incoming class. And their advice is simple.
Be honest and be authentic.
Working for you, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
The Association of American Medical Colleges says 2020 reached a 20-year high for applications, but it doesn't necessarily mean there will be more doctors in the near future. Organizations like AAMC want to see federally funded residency caps lifted, or it says the country could be short as many as 139,000 physicians by the year 2033. Today, the Indiana Department of Health reports 99 additional coronavirus-related deaths. 7,911 people in Indiana have died with COVID-19 since March. The Department of Health also confirms more than 6,500 additional cases of the virus. More than 511,400 Hoosiers have now been diagnosed with COVID-19. A drop in the number of COVID-related hospitalizations in Indiana. Data from the state shows that as of yesterday, 2,842 Hoosiers were in the hospital with COVID-19 or symptoms that could develop into the coronavirus. That's 99 fewer patients in Indiana hospitals than on Tuesday. 20% of the state's ICU beds are currently available.
Judge Rohde, are you taking any questions? Kara Kenny with WRTV.
WRTV Investigates has questions for a top official in Bartholomew County. As we first reported, Indiana State Police and the State Board of Accounts are both conducting investigations into the Columbus Police Department amid allegations of ghost employment. Our Kara Kenny is looking for answers and headed to the courthouse to get them.
Taking the oath of office.
The Constitution of the United States.
On December 18th, Circuit Court Judge Kelly Benjamin swore in Bartholomew County office holders, including Superior Court Judge-elect John Rohde.
I, Jonathan Rohde.
Rohde is the former Columbus police chief. He stepped down as chief at the end of 2019. WRTV Investigates has been trying to talk to Rohde about allegations of ghost employment involving him and other officers in the department, but he's not responded to our requests. On December 23rd, two former police officers, Daniel Meister and Ronald May, pleaded guilty to ghost employment after state police found they worked security at Columbus Regional Hospital while on the clock for the city. We filed multiple records requests and found while he was chief, John Rohde also worked security at Columbus Regional Hospital. We analyzed time records and counted at least 131 days between 2015 and 2018 in which Rohde's work with the city appeared to overlap with his shift at Columbus Regional Hospital. Police administration office hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., according to their website. But time records show Chief Rohde typically worked at the hospital from 3:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. one day a week. While he was chief, John Rohde also worked as a mediator for the Indiana Office of Court Services. As an attorney, he helped resolve mortgage foreclosure cases between homeowners and banks. Records show Rohde billed the state for hundreds of phone and in-person conferences that all took place during normal business hours. We counted 68 days between May 2014 and 2018 in which Rohde reported working a full day at the police department, but also worked for court services, sometimes for hours. For example, on August 3rd, 2017, records show Rohde was in court hearings for the state from 1:30 p.m., with the last one starting at 4:15 p.m. The same day, records show he also claimed to be working a full day at the Columbus Police Department. Records reflect that Rohde occasionally used paid time off to accommodate his other jobs, but most of the time he did not. WRTV has learned a criminal investigation is underway. Indiana State Police is investigating allegations of ghost employment involving the Columbus Police Department. Special prosecutors have also been appointed, and WRTV has learned the Indiana State Board of Accounts is conducting an audit into the allegations as well. Since Rohde has not responded to our request for comment, we went to the courthouse on December 18th and waited until Rohde was finished being sworn in.
Judge Rohde, are you taking any questions? Kara Kenny with WRTV.
We're still in the middle of about to swear someone else in.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We waited until the end of the ceremony, but we did not get an opportunity to ask Rohde about the ghost employment allegations or investigation. So we went outside the courthouse and waited for him to come out the front. With sheriff's deputies by his side, Rohde went out a side exit. John Rohde!
Would like to ask you some questions. And with that, he was gone. Our questions unanswered. As Rhodey pulled away, a sheriff's deputy followed behind him. Former Columbus Mayor Kristen Brown appointed Rhodey as chief in May 2014 and says taxpayers deserve an explanation.
At the end of the day, it's their hard-earned money. But yeah, they should care. It's their money.
When you were the mayor, did you know that he was doing this?
No, I had no idea. It kind of makes you wonder, like, when did he have time to be the police chief?
Records show that as police chief, Rhodey earned more than $80,000 a year. His extra work at the hospital and court services brought in an additional $100,000 over a span of 6 years. The current police chief, Michael Richardson, has also declined to speak with us. Meister and May received a suspended sentence this month and have already repaid the taxpayers. John Rhodey takes the bench as judge in January. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
The city attorney points out they implemented a new digital timekeeping system in January 2019 that added additional checks and balances. His statement went on to say, quote, the police department operates 24 hours a day, and the officers from the newest patrol officer to the chief of police are required to be present at meetings, training, and emergencies that might arise outside of their regular work hours. Traditional work schedules aren't always applicable, and our goal is to respond to the needs of the community, end quote. It has been almost 3 years since an Indianapolis mother lost her son to gun violence. The holidays are especially hard for her. But WRTV's Troy Washington shows us how this mother finds a way to keep pushing forward while waiting for justice.
Any graveyard here in the city of Indianapolis basically doesn't need to be watered because mothers like myself, we water the graveyard when we go see our kids, because we always there crying.
Demita Boucher is still grieving the loss of her son, Amand Boucher, but as she waits for closure and someone to speak up about his murder so an arrest can be made, she's keeping busy.
When you see it, his logo, his face.
These days you can find her on her food truck named after her son who was killed almost 3 years ago. She doesn't want his case to turn cold and hasn't given up hope that someone with answers about what happened near Washington and West Street on that March night in 2018 will come forward.
He gives me strength from the grave because he wants me to be strong. And I want to be strong. I want to live because I want to see justice.
And this is where she finds that strength to keep going.
I can hear him right here in my left ear all the time. I can hear him in my left ear. And when I'm on that truck, I'm just overwhelmed.
She says when she's cooking and serving customers, that's when she feels her son's presence most.
I'm on that food truck. I'm on there and I could just feel him. Sometimes I turn the music on and I just dance from the front of the truck to the back of the truck.
It's all just her way of keeping her son close as she waits for closure in his case.
When they find who did this to him, they will go away. But there's only one thing different. They will still see their family. I will never see my baby again.
Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Well, there aren't any updates on this case right now, but Babucci keeps in touch with detectives and is hopeful that someone will come forward before the case goes cold. Aldo Andretti, the twin brother of IndyCar legend Mario Andretti, has died. He was 80 years old. Aldo Andretti died last night in Indianapolis, according to a statement from Andretti Autosport. The Andretti brothers were teenagers in 1955 when their family immigrated to the United States from Italy and settled in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Both Aldo and Mario embarked on racing careers. However, Aldo retired in 1969 following a severe crash in Des Moines, Iowa. Mario Andretti tweeted this, quote, Aldo Andretti, my loving twin brother, my partner in crime, and my faithful best friend every day of my life, was called to heaven last night. Half of me went with him. There is no eloquence. I'm shaken to my core, end quote. Aldo died exactly 11 months after his son, John Andretti, who passed away last January 30th. Friends are invited to Stevens Mortuary in Indianapolis from 4 to 7:30 p.m. on Monday.
The cold air locked in place, and that sets us up for an icy start to our Friday. However, things are going to flip as we get into the new year. We'll talk about a warming trend. You're watching WRTV News at 6.
American Mattress.
Welcome back. Those who plan to spend the evening at Indianapolis bars and restaurants will have to head to the door just as 2021 arrives. The Marion County Public Health Department is ordering all restaurants, bars, and nightclubs to be closed to indoor dining, drink service, and cleared of customers between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. According to the health department, staying home and celebrating with the people you live with or celebrating virtually with loved ones is the safest choice this year because of the pandemic. The department says large gatherings are a bad idea. Everyone wants to be able to enjoy a New Year's Eve celebration, even the kids. But sometimes midnight is just too late for the kiddos. So today, the Children's Museum of Indianapolis celebrated a socially distanced and masked up countdown to noon for the youngsters.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It sounded like kids and their families had fun there. Their countdown muffled a bit by the masks. Again, there weren't quite as many people at the countdown to noon as usual because the Children's Museum has limited its capacity due to the pandemic. For the entire family, stick with us here at WRTV to slam the door shut on 2020 and welcome in 2021. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest starts at 8 p.m. and goes up until 11. Then watch the news at 11 here on WRTV. New Year's Rockin' Eve continues then at 11:30, where the countdown will begin in earnest for the Times Square ball drop at midnight and the start of 2021. Things will look a bit different this year. There will be no crowd gathered at Times Square for tonight's festivities, but New Year's Rockin' Eve will still bring the entertainment. Kyle.
And you might be spending New Year's at home, but still want to show you that forecast as we approach midnight tonight. Still going to be dry for us. No precipitation, no freezing rain out there as we approach midnight with temperatures in the upper 20s. But things are going to be changing here as we get into our Friday morning and the early morning hours of it. You can see at 4 a.m. starting to see that freezing rain develop from I-70 areas to the south. By 6 a.m. it's made its way toward Logansport into Kokomo and Lafayette, even Hartford City. By 9:30 in the morning, we start to see the warmer air moving in from the south. So that will transition us over from freezing rain to rain, but it looks like it could be a little slippery here the first half of the day as we get into the early afternoon. Then it's a chilly rain for us here, but the icy conditions should subside. Here's a look at what we're expecting as far as ice accumulation. Most areas along and south of I-70 should be under 1/10 of an inch. It's where we get closer to Kokomo, into Lafayette, into Frankfort, where you could see about 1/4 inch of ice tomorrow morning, so it'll take a little longer for that to kind of melt away. Temperatures right now, upper 20s, 30 degrees for you in the Bloomington area with those skies that have had some clearing late in the day, but those clouds are going to build right back in here, and those temperatures very near the freezing mark by tomorrow morning. So we're not really going to waver too far here as we go through the overnight hours. 38, a chilly rain for you at noon. We'll make progress through the 40s, and you notice we're at our warmest as we get to 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Still some showers around and about 46 degrees. So I think we'll approach 50 as we get into tomorrow night. Here's a look at the rain potential then. This is not ice, but just plain old rain for us. Could see about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. We had about 1/2 inch of rain earlier in the week, so might be a little bit muddy and sloppy here as we head into the upcoming weekend, but things will dry out a little bit with temperatures around 40 degrees. May see a few rain or snow showers Saturday night into Sunday morning. Doesn't look like that'll be a big deal for us. As we check out that extended forecast, temperatures, they're around 40 this weekend, and then they'll actually warm up here as we head into that first full week of 2021. We'll enjoy those numbers topping out in the middle 40s. Another chance for a little wintry mix as we get toward Thursday. The always dapper Brad Brown here with sports now.
Kyle, glad to be here tonight, and a happy new year, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with Ball State. Their football team didn't even have a season until the end of September. They took a season opening loss and parlayed it into a 6-game winning streak. The program's first conference title in 24 years got them a trip to the Arizona Bowl, and their performance today was a proper way to close out 2020. 55 degrees in Tucson. It was a hot start for the Cards. The defense making the first big play. Antonio Phillips stepping in front of the pass, and there's nothing but green turf ahead of him. 53 yards on the return for the pick six, and BSU had a quick lead. The offense also converted on its first possession. Will Jones finishes off the drive with the short TD run. 5 minutes in, Ball State was already up 13-0, and they made it 20. And then another huge play from the D. Nick Jones gets a hand on the punt. That block would set up great field position. It turned into a 27-point first quarter. TD sneak by quarterback Drew Plitt They had 270 total yards in the first half. That same 27-0 score carried over to the third quarter. The Ball State defense continued its stellar outing. Brett Anderson goes up, snags the team's third of 4 INTs in the game. Put the ball near midfield for the offense, and Plitt takes care of it from there. His favorite target all season was Hines Tyler, the 48-yard TD. It all adds up to the first Bull win in program history, 34-13. No doubt about this one.
I told those guys today, man, the last time I took my jersey off in Las Vegas was a loss. And that jersey, still struggle to look at it on my wall. So I'm so proud of these guys. Not bad for a 10-point underdog. These guys use that motivation in such a great way. And it's a testament to these young men for hard work, for belief, for not quitting on the process.
Mike New, Ball State class of 96. 2013, their last bowl appearance. Again, the first bowl win in school history. Congrats to the Cards. Well, after a 3-0 start to their season, the Pacers dropped Tuesday's game to the Celtics. A matinee on New Year's Eve at Bankers Life Fieldhouse has become a bit of a tradition. They had a chance to bounce back strong, and they did that today, taking on Cleveland for the first time this season. Pretty solid showing from the very start for the Pacers. Second quarter on the break, Victor Oladipo strong to the rim, the and one. He had 16 points this afternoon. Pacers up 6 at halftime. Keep it going in the third quarter. Malcolm Brogdon left open. Going to take care of that for 3. One of 16 the Pacers hit from behind the arc in this game. Domantas Sabonis led the scoring again. He had 25 points. Nice move to the rim here. 11 rebounds as well. And 1, 6 in double figures. Pacers come away with the 20-point win, 119-99. They play in New York on Saturday night. We'll have a reaction of that one for you coming up tonight on the news at 11. Have a safe and happy New Year's Eve. We'll see you back here tonight. Time for another break. The news at 6 continues next.
All right, some freezing rain will develop overnight tonight into Friday morning. Some slick conditions there, but things will improve as we get into the afternoon and temperatures climb through the 30s and into the 40s. Much of the upcoming weekend should be quiet. Few rain or snow showers possible into early Sunday. And then next week, really looking pretty good at this point, Mark, with highs in the 40s.
All right, this is the last day of 2020 here. Thanks for being here with us. Up next, World News Tonight with David Muir. We'll be back at 7.